Before we get to Gerald's story, we probably need to broach that complex question we all ask ourselves when we are confronted with stories of hermits or recluses. That's why. Humans are social animals after all. Seek the company of others. It is hard for us to live totally on our own. To volunteer to live on your own automatically characterises you as having a psychological issue or two. There are lots of these psychological issues that are often reported as being the underlying reasons for a person, a man 9 times out of 10, becoming a recluse. Apathy, social anxiety, schizoid personality disorder. In reality, recluses have been about as long as humans have existed. They don't come in one package, and they don't all go bush. Japan has the largest number of recluses, called hikikomori. They number about 500,000, locking themselves away in their urban flats, hardly venturing out. No two hermits or recluses are the same. Some are outright misanthropic, shunning any human contact. Others feel happy and content with their own company. And why did Gerald seek out solitude for 6 years? The former open brethren believed the world was about to be destroyed in an apocalypse of some kind, brought on by the wrath of God. He sought to separate himself from all the wickedness and was conversant about what God had done the first time he dealt with his creations. That's to say, he drowned them in a massive flood. What better way to escape this fate than residing on the top of a reasonably sized mountain, 1,300 metres above sea level? When it hit the fan, he would be well clear. He even had a date, 2011. Gerald had this all on good authority. God himself. A divine revelation of sorts, without which we wouldn't have the religions of Islam, Mormonism, and the Baha'i faith, nor the 10 Commandments, etc. Keep this in the back of your mind as we proceed with the story. Gerald's first bug-out site was on Mount Stormy, which overlooks the west coast township of Karamea. No one knows why he picked the top of the South Island's west coast. His roots were, after all, in the King Country, or why he chose to become what he termed a freedom camper in 1987 at the age of 32. Rather than say on New Year's Eve 2010. Mount Stormy, though, proved too busy for his liking, so he retreated further away from the township and the dock tramping tracks, and with it the likelihood of bumping into humans any more than a dozen times a year. His new spot was on top of Mount Hermit, where he built this. An igloo-like construction, comprising chicken netting, a tent, tussock grass and sphagnum moss. You may have noticed the absence of a chimney for heat and cooking. He had little use for a fire. The construction was cosy and secure enough, warm enough to sleep in just a bedroll. Everything he drank or ate was unprocessed and uncooked. Believed that cooking somehow destroyed the food's tonic. Consumed tea, coffee, food, etc., all cold. And what did he eat? Every couple of weeks he would run the 5 hours down to Karamea and pack all his fortnight's supplies 8 hours back up Mount Hermit, bringing with him porridge, biscuits, cheese, dried potatoes, tea, as well as his beloved potato chips. Nor were his supply runs his only interactions with other Kiwis besides the odd tramper. He wasn't cut off from the world, not by a long shot. In the background, that's a 9-metre mast for his CB radio. It also proved rather effective attracting lightning. There was also a TV aerial for a small black and white telly, both powered off a wind charger attached to 2 car batteries, all of which he hauled up to his moss igloo, erected to take a battering from the winds and weather. He would watch the news every night and regularly chat to his mates on the CB. Not that he was completely sold on Mount Hermit. He had his eyes on another site he dubbed Mount Petra, and had gradually made preparations to move there one day, join other monastic retreaters by developing a cave he had located. Cover would also welcome the odd visitor. One of those that was intrigued by his lifestyle was Nelson journalist Don Grady, who befriended him. Alerted the rest of New Zealand to a mountain man living near Karamea. It was Grady who learnt Cover was lonely, sought a love interest. Grady voiced Cover's plea on TV New Zealand's Home Show and in the Fourth Estate.
Wanted. Hardy Kiwi woman to join Kiwi man in one-room apartment with a panoramic view.
There were in fact some takers, one female of which he went to Auckland to visit, and she ventured up the mountain to check out the shower and ablution situations. It didn't end up well when reality dawned on her. It was then Gerald decided to move down into the township. His 6 years being a hermit with benefits were over. Not that he ever really adapted fully to civilian life down in Karamea, population 400. He took up residence at the back of one of his mates' properties, where he continued to live relatively rough by popular standards, that's to say, under a tent fly, continued with his experiments with elixirs made from native plants. Tragically, Cover died in Christchurch Hospital in June 1999 after a bike accident close to his Karamea home. He was just 44. Is now buried in the Karamea Cemetery, which has a grand view of Mount Stormy. At his funeral, this song was played. Indeed, seldom was heard a discouraging word when it came to Gerald Cover. I would like to thank Gerard Hindmarsh with this video. His book, Outsiders, is a real doozy. Features all sorts of tales similar to the one I've just recounted. I'd like to thank you for popping by. This channel is fueled by likes and subscriptions. Yours would be appreciated. I will see you later. Bye for now.